The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. And not just any episode, but they did it, divisional round recap of the Phixated Podcast. Oh my gosh, I don't know that my heart rate has come down. My emotions are in check yet. It is like 6 hours after the final whistle. 4 hours after the final whistle, and I am still probably not my best mind. Regz, how you holding up, buddy?
I think as I told you earlier, a friend texted me, hey, what a game. Good for you guys. And I just replied back, I'm dying. I was, oh my God, so stressed out. So like mortified of what we all knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it somehow didn't.
Snow games aren't as fun as I want them to be.
Not like that. They're not. When LaShawn McCoy's like, and when you're up 20, it's not bad. But when your kicker's missing extra points and your defense is giving up 2-minute touchdowns and, and giving it, and then your quarterback's taking a sack on second down when all you have to do is run the clock out.
We're gonna get to that.
There's a lot of things.
We're gonna get to that because the Jalen hate isn't gonna fly for me today. We're gonna go drive by drive, possession by possession here, and sort of do our normal recap. We'll look a little bit ahead to the Washington game, but we're not gonna go too crazy. Knowing that we have a Thursday show to sort of dig into everything there is. But let's go ahead and jump into the drive by drive here, and we'll talk through it as we go. Eagles got the ball to start. The Rams decided to take the ball at half. That surprised me a little bit. I know I'm jumping into nuts and bolts here right away, but knowing what the weather was going to be in the third and fourth quarters, I had decided myself that if the Eagles won the toss, that I wanted them to take the ball, because of the weather being what it was going to be coming out of half. I wanted to get on the board early because of that.
Yeah.
And, there was part of me that was like, oh, okay, then let's do this thing. Like, I'm good with it. So 6 plays, ended up going, 6 plays, 74 yards, ended with a Jalen 44-yard run. They were very much interested in what Saquon Barkley was doing on that mesh play, and Jalen pulled it and went 44 to the house. He also looked good in the passing game earlier. I like that they got him on a route right away. Gave him a couple of easy throws. He had a nice check down throw, and then the big breakaway run on the pool put him up 6-0, and this is the first of 2 missed extra points from Jake Elliott here. But your initial thoughts coming out of that first drive?
I'm over the Jake Elliott bit with the extra points. I'm over it. Need him to just, kind of snap out of it. I mean, look, it was ideal. I don't think any of us cared how it looked. I just think we're so used to this team not scoring points on their opening drives that it's all we want them to do. And especially at home,
right? Like,
yeah, you lost the toss, but you're getting the ball first. It's such a chance to be like, we're here today, as an offense, we're ready to go. So I thought in that sense, it was perfect outside of the missed extra point. Like, it was perfect. However, I didn't care how they got there, but scoring a touchdown on your opening drive on at a home playoff game, like, that's what you got to do. You got to put the Rams behind the 8 ball as soon as possible and not let them score first and start feeling good about themselves.
Yeah. And there was definite juice in the stadium. The Rams come out. I think they had a first down run almost immediately, and then the Eagles got him into a 3rd and long, thought they were off the field. Turns out that Higbee made the catch. Was it Higbee or was it Kupp? I can't remember.
No,
I think it was Higbee.
Yeah.
The that drive was very frustrating. Because Darius Slay could have ended that game immediately. Like they had 3 picks today that weren't picks. And he drops that might have been a house call, actually. Wasn't. They end up scoring on that drive. Few third downs that they couldn't get off the field. You had texted me like, "Why is it always CJ?" And I was like, "Yeah, I get it. You know, in the red zone, it's tough. You're in the red zone. He's on a big body." But they can't let Matt Stafford run on 3rd and 6 for a first down.
Right.
That will kill them next week with
yeah.
Jaden Daniels. That will end their season. If Matthew Stafford is rushing on 3rd and 6 for 6 yards, that's the type of stuff that's going to end your season next week. So they went down 7-6, a couple of quick 3 and outs for both teams. And then the Eagles get the ball back and on 4 plays score immediately on a big run from Saquon Barkley, who just, I texted you right away, loaded box, one safety, bye. All it takes with a loaded box with that offensive line is everybody does their job. One guy, he's got to beat one guy. And I'll tell you right now, a safety isn't diving at Saquon Barkley's feet and tackling him.
Especially when he's got a head of speed, a head of steam.
Yeah.
And sees him coming from like a mile away.
And hats off to Mekhi Becton on that play.
Yeah, he had a weird game.
He did.
That was one of the highlights for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple other things weren't so great, but that play,
that
for sure was a good one.
That illegal man downfield needs to go away.
It's the stupidest thing. Like, it's just looking for a reason to throw a flag.
Yeah.
When has it once ever affected the play?
Yeah. Well, did you hear Collinsworth when they threw the flag on the replay? He was like, and it totally affected the play. He is 1 yard downfield. I don't care if that ball is thrown or not yet. Like, he's making that block whether it's thrown or not. Like, he's going to make the block. Like,
I don't. Yeah,
it makes no difference.
And also, the defender was 7 yards away from the guy who was eventually catching the ball. What do you think? That guy's going to get there and affect Dallas catching the ball? Like, I don't understand.
It's the dumbest play of ever. It's the dumbest penalty of all time. We'll get there.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get there. Okay. So then the Rams get the ball. They end up going 7 plays for 68 yards. One of those being a bomb downfield to Robinson. It was taken away from Isaiah Rodgers.
Oh my God.
Now, this was right after Q went out of the game. We didn't know his status. We knew that he had hurt his shoulder. We'll get to that at the end of the episode. But that's a ball he has to high point. He tried to basket it. Now, don't get me wrong. That's a heck of a play by DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
There needs to be credit where credit is due. Making that play is unfathomable to me that he was able to come down with that ball.
I know.
But if Rodgers high points it and doesn't try and cradle it, that's a pick. Or just goes to bat it down.
I know. Either way, right? That. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even need to pick it. I get why you do because you're in the position to do it. I get it. But a heck of a play. The defense stands up, only allows 3. That's fine. Eagles come back down after a good return from Gainwell, but don't get anything out of it. And it was a weird drive because initially they were able to move the ball. They got the ball all the way to the Rams 30-yard line. And then Jalen took a 9-yard sack. This was the sack that I think made me angriest today. I know there were a couple more that people were upset about. This was the one, though, that frustrated me most. Only because I don't think he needed to hold it. I think he could have tucked it and taken off right away. I don't have a problem with a few of the others down the line, and we'll talk about those. But this one bothered me. It took them out of field goal range in a spot where I feel like they needed points. I also just that was a Jalen play that frustrated me today. There weren't a ton of them, but that was one.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll talk about a few others that, might be debatable on whose fault it is, but he just for some reason isn't either. Again, we have no idea what it is, and I don't want to make it sound like, oh, this is so easy, he should just do it. I could never play quarterback in the NFL, so what the hell do I know? But it seems that there's opportunities just to just chuck it out of bounds near somebody. I don't care. It doesn't we've seen how many quarterbacks do this, how many thousands of times. I feel like I can name 100 times I've seen Tom Brady do that. Just literally, he's throwing it into the stands, and there's somebody around there, so they couldn't tell you. Somebody's in the vicinity, trying to get it to him. Blah blah blah. Just to anything to avoid not taking a sack.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think maybe that's how simple it is. It's you can't take the sack. You can't lose the yardage. You just can't. You have to have some way to, when possible, avoid that happening. I get it. Sometimes it's not possible. Sacks happen. But some of the times, like you said, that Jalen allows this to happen, it seems like he's got time to process and just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's thrown at the feet of somebody, anything, just get the damn thing out of your hand so you don't take the 12, 9, 13-yard loss that puts you out of field goal range.
Yeah. So let's jump to the next possession. There's plenty to talk about with Jalen today. The Rams, they punt to the Rams, they pin him at the 7. The Rams go 5 plays, 35 yards, end up punting. Pin the Eagles at the 9. This possession, super, super interesting to me. The Eagles get a short run to start the drive, then a false start, then no gain, and then Saquon looks like he's calling himself out. The Eagles tell him to stay on. They put him in motion, put Devontae in motion, fake to Saquon, dump to Saquon. Saquon gets a blocker out in front, gets 20 for a first down. That was a great play call.
Oh, yeah.
Getting him in space on plays like that, when he gets a full head of steam with one blocker, it's, he could house that.
Yeah.
Then he comes out. Kenny gets 3 straight plays for 10 yards. Really good possession from Kenny. We didn't see a lot of Kenny today, but when he was on the field, he was making good plays.
Yeah.
The Kenny Gainwell train is in full effect right now over here on Azzy's side.
And like you said, had a really good return.
Yeah, earlier that I kind of glanced over. Then Saquon comes back on the field. I'm trying to just bring back some of that drive.
Well, I guess we could, in case if you missed it, got looked at his left hand wrist area. They kind of taped it up, and he went back out there, like you said, a few plays later.
Right. There nothing else super big happened here. Jalen did make a throw to AJ. I'm trying to remember the first throw. There was a throw to AJ on this drive that he sailed, or maybe that was a previous drive. There was a throw to AJ.
The second down play. Yeah, the out.
Was that the one he
route,
sailed?
Right? Yeah.
Was it on this possession? I'm trying to see it on the drive chart, but I'm not seeing it. I think it might have been.
Maybe it was a different one.
I think it was a different possession, because the incompletion here is the one that I want to talk. He throws a beautiful ball. I mean, an absolutely beautiful ball with a minute 4, and it was a good play call, 2nd and 1. So there was no need. They absolutely 2nd and 1 from the 37. Great spot to take a shot, catch him off guard. If you make the throw, great. If you don't, it's out of bounds. It's not a big deal. It was a dime. And AJ makes that catch in fair weather. And typically I'll say 95 out of 100 times, 100 out of 100 times. AJ does not drop that ball ever.
Yeah.
And I texted you almost immediately and said that play's going to haunt us for the entire offseason. If he catches that ball, they're first and goal from the 2 with 50 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
They're tush pushing twice. They're brotherly shoving both times. They're getting in. It's and the Eagles are, and at that point, Sirianni's probably chasing the ball. He's going to go for 2 there because they're a 9-point lead. It's still 2 possessions. At that point, I'd be okay with him chasing the ball. But he dropped it, and it was a weird drop. Like, he had it, then he had it again, and then he finally had it completely, but he was out of bounds. The safety didn't do anything to knock it loose. The corner didn't jar it loose. I think it was because he tried to body it instead of hand in the snow.
Yeah. And
then I'm not.
Right.
Who am I
to
give AJ Brown advice on how to catch a football? I'm not. But I do think if he would have tried to just, catch it with his hands, I think something with the body, trying to catch it with your body in the snow, maybe.
And hitting the ground also.
At the same time, yeah. And again, AJ's one of the last dudes on this roster I'm going to criticize. Again, I thought he played his ass off. He blocked his ass off again today.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing on a knee injury in the snow.
And admittedly, after the game, just like Devontae, against the Commanders.
I didn't see anything. Did he own it?
Yeah. He was just like, the weather, played a little bit of a factor. But he's like, I'm not going to tell you I shouldn't make that catch.
Yeah.
So he acknowledged it. Like, look, I should make that catch. Like, yes,
right.
Maybe something affected it, but like, I should make the catch.
So then, Saquon catch, 3rd and 5. Sorry, no, because they got a first down. 2nd and 8. This sack, not happy about it, but I'm not putting this one on Jalen. Spates was in his face almost immediately. Like, there was some sort of misassignment on this play. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It looked like to me that Becton sort of never had his balance. Was looking for someone to block. Lane went out he kicked out on verse. Again, I'm gonna have to look at it again, but on the replay, it looked like just looked like Spates. He had a free rush.
Yeah.
Like, there was no one touched him.
Right.
And what Jalen can't do anything there. Like, I don't care what's in front of him, because all he sees is a free rusher right at his face. Now, we're lucky that Kenny was there to fall, because if he's not, that's a scoop and score, because there were 4 Rams there waiting to pick up that ball.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. They called a timeout. I wish he would have called it earlier, because I think they could have set up a play to get themselves in field goal range. It would have been 3rd and long. They would have had to get to the sideline or rush Jake out there, but like, call a timeout earlier. I think when that play ended, there were like 18 seconds left, and Nick let it run down for a Hail Mary.
Which they didn't even get off, right? Yeah.
You knew the Rams were going to send pressure.
Right.
Like, they weren't going to let him settle and throw the Hail Mary there, because it was doable from that spot. So they were going to send 5 guys. And, in that sort of weather, Jalen needs to have his footing. So I do wish they would have, run even like a screen. They ran a couple of screens today that
they did, yeah.
You run one there, and you get yourself, into a spot, get out of bounds, kick the field goal. 21-0 would have been great. Or I'm sorry, 21-0. 21-10 would have been great, but 16-10 would have been great too.
Yeah, it was another just like it just seemed like they came at really tough spots and areas that put us out of scoring points. I think that's where most of the frustration comes from, is that we went from, potential field goal to just nothing, just the drive doing nothing.
Right. All right, so the third quarter comes around. None of us were feeling good. I think, you and I texted like, this is not good. This feels like a loss.
Yep.
All the things. Rams came out and the snow was really coming down at this point. You could see the difference in breaks from receivers, the way the ball was coming out of Stafford's hands. Rodgers almost had another pick on the first possession. They went 3-and-out. The Eagles went 3-and-out. And then the Rams drive. They go 68 yards, kick a field goal. What the Rams started to do was just take shots.
Right.
And then once they got in the red zone, they couldn't take shots anymore. And that sort of killed their offense. But if they could just run straight downfield, they were just taking shots.
Yeah, because they were playing into the fact that, our corners were really making sure that they didn't slip and like let guys just run free. So they'd rather give up 12 yards than get beat deep or risk, falling down and giving them essentially a free play.
Right. Okay, so Eagles get the ball back 13-13. Couple of runs to start the drive. Big play to Goddard for 31 to get him into plus territory. Another play to Goddard. I loved how much they used him today. Saquon with a big run to get another first down. Then they tried to take a shot to AJ in the end zone, and that ball could have been picked. I didn't love that throw.
It wasn't good. The Rams, the corner had it in his hands. Like it hit the Rams guy in his hands.
I did not love that throw.
No.
I like the play design. I like the pump to the flat.
Yeah.
And typically AJ is open on that play. But I didn't love the throw. And then here was the screen that got called back.
God.
All right. So by the book, it's the right call. Like by the rules, it's the right call. But I swear to God, Regz, I watched that happen in so many games and it doesn't get called.
The only time it was called all game, by the way.
Yeah, but I watch it in other games.
Yeah,
like
right.
it happens all the time and it doesn't get called. And then on big plays with the Eagles, it gets called. And I know that they're telling teams, but like, why can't Sirianni say to the officiating crew, hey, look for the ineligible downfield? Because other teams do it too. Like guys get, I guarantee you, it'll happen with the Commanders because they run the same RPO.
Right.
It's gonna happen. These guys release downfield. It's wild to me because you made a great point. Goddard catches that ball 6 yards away from the linebacker, who is coming upfield toward the line of scrimmage.
Where Becton is going. If Becton is 1 yard back, what's the difference? That's the part that blows my mind. Like this is one of the times where I've seen the lineman be anywhere near another player on the defense. Most of the time this is called and there's no one.
Yeah, they're just standing looking for someone.
Because they think it's a run. So they get 3 yards and then they're standing there like, well, nobody's in front of me. So what do I do?
Yeah.
How in God's name does that affect the play?
It doesn't. And again, today might have been the one where I've seen it affect the play. I still think it's trash. I still think it's a dumb call. I still think it happens far more than it is called.
And it was another well-called, well-executed screen.
Yeah.
That they had, and the Eagles have not done a lot of screens this year.
And like, here's the thing about screens. Like, when you run a screen, what happens? The linemen release upfield.
Right.
The only difference between this screen and those is that they faked a handoff.
Right.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Like, but here's the thing. If you're running a screen, which it was a design screen, it was never intended to be a rush. So like it's a play action screen. I don't know. I hate
it
so done with that
so much when flags are thrown for that. I hate it.
Because Regz, it's a 4-point swing. It's a 4-point swing.
For a rule that has never once determined the outcome of a play.
No, because it's a 4-point swing. The Eagles.
Who made up this? What happened to make this rule up?
I don't know.
Like what play could have happened that the NFL rules committee was like, we have to make sure linemen stay within a yard of the line of scrimmage?
It's the funniest freaking rule.
Were guys 20 yards downfield, like blocking corners so their wide receivers could get open? Like, what are we talking about?
There's just no way. Okay, so then Hurts gets sacked, makes his 2nd and 15. I don't actually remember that sack. I'm gonna have to go back and see it on film. The Barkley then rushes for 3, and then Jake Elliott, who apparently can't make an extra point, bangs from 44 into pouring down snow.
Right.
Bangs from 44. So they go up 16-13. They get a quick 3 and out, and then was this, I think it was, when did Jalen get hurt on? It wasn't the safety that he got.
No. It was right before then.
Well, but that was
it was the possession before then.
Oh, so it was the possession I just talked about.
It was the last play of that possession.
It was that sack.
Yes.
It was that sack.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because this is what drove me nuts. This possession, they get pinned back at their own 4. They run on the first play. Saquon picks up 4. 2nd and 6. You're at your 8. Your quarterback's knee is now braced. And you decide to run design pass.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming Jalen Hurts for that play. 1, because it's a stupid play call.
It is.
2, because another, and there were, and I love Ben Solak. I absolutely love that guy. But the tweet with the picture of Jalen and Goddard running free, Jalen isn't even off of his first read yet. Like, if you zoom in on that picture, he's looking left.
I hear you, but should he be? Like, should he be off his read already? And, like, knowing that, like, oh, shit, like, maybe I should get off this to the guy who's going to be open really quickly?
I mean,
I'm just asking. I'm playing a little devil's advocate here, but, like,
I mean, I'm gonna have to look at it again, but it feels like that dude was there a snap. Like,
I would have to go back and check out the timing.
I immediately screamed, no.
Yeah.
Because like that dude was in his face. In almost, again, I'll have to go back and look, and I might be, but let's hold on, because I'm gonna go back to the initial point.
Yes.
You give the ball to 26 again.
For another 4 yards, right?
That possession to me is all about, let's just knock 2 minutes off the clock here.
What are you trying to do on your 8-yard line?
With your quarterback in a banged up knee.
Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
The wildest decision. Well, I don't know. You could probably argue because there's another one coming.
Yeah.
But one of the wildest plays in this game was dropping your quarterback with a bum knee 8 yards into his own end zone. When you're all-pro superstar running back is probably going to, at the very worst, lose a yard or 2. And you're still going to kill 40 seconds on the play clock.
I think that's the difference. The reward of that pass play does not outweigh the risk. Like that, I think that's the biggest problem. Is that, yes, could Saquon lose a yard? Sure. Is he going to lose 8 and it's going to be a safety? No.
Right.
If you drop your quarterback back and one guy slips on a now snowy field, that happens. And now it's a 1-point game and you're giving the ball back to the Rams. So like it doesn't make sense from a risk reward standpoint.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Okay, so then they get the free kick. They decide to let Elliott kick it, which actually worked out well because LA only ended up at the 35, which, you know, in today's NFL rules, it's only 5-yard plus, right? And immediately on the first play, they punched the ball. First play he went for 8. The next play, freaking Jalen Carter, who's a complete game record, punches the ball out of Kyron Williams. And Isaiah Rodgers takes it back to their 10-yard line. Again, here, like, this possession pissed me off.
Oh my God.
Because Barkley for 8, Barkley for none. Again, Barkley for none. And at this point, you know that Jalen is hurt because of the fact that they're not running the brotherly shove. They thought Barkley got in, he didn't get in. And then they do run brotherly shove.
It's fourth down now. Yep.
4th and inches. Amazing to me. All of the things that NFL officials miss, but in a freaking almost blizzard whiteout, this sideline judge sees Lane Johnson rock back a half an inch and calls it. Again, it was the right call. Initially I didn't think it was, but it was. It was the correct call. He moved. I just can't believe
it
that they saw it. And again, it really doesn't have anything to do with the play because Jalen's going to his left. Like, it doesn't. But I mean,
of all people though, like Lane, buddy.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Like this is when I text you, how many more things can they do to lose this game?
I know.
Like at this point, it's past like the Rams beating us. We're killing ourselves. Like we're at a feet to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're done at this point. That the safety, this jumping off sides, like, you know, a sack here, like to get out of field goal range again.
Yeah.
It's just like, guys, what are we doing? Why are we letting this team hang around so long? Why are we doing this?
It was really rough. It was really, really rough. So the Eagles make the field goal. They go up 19-15, which, you know, didn't feel great at the time. Couple of pointless possessions, 5 plays, 16 yards. This was not a pointless possession. This was a strip sack. Nolan Smith, who has been incredible.
He has been.
Makes another play, and Zach Bond picks it up. The Eagles don't do a whole lot. Barkley with a couple of runs. Jalen dumps a pass off. They go for it on 4th and 4 and get AJ on a quick slant. It was a great throw by Jalen, by the way. Freaking rifled it. Great catch too in that weather. Don't do a whole lot more. They did Devontae, who I should say, haven't said it yet, should have at this point. Did break. He is now the all-time leading receiver in Eagles playoff history.
I saw that. Isn't that wild?
4 years into his career.
Yeah.
It just shows you how bad the receiver play has been in Eagles history because good Lord. So then, you know, Jake comes in and bangs a 37-yard field goal. Like, and these were all like no doubters.
Oh yeah.
Like just no doubters. Okay. So 22-15, Rams go 3 and out. Was kind of surprised they punted.
Yeah. Right.
You know, with 5 minutes left, I was like, man, I can't believe they're going to punt. It ended up actually working out because the Eagles scored immediately.
Yeah. One
play, 78 yards to the house. Saquon Barkley slapping himself in the helmet on the way to the end zone. I sent you the picture beforehand. We're going to have to post it on social media. Jalen has both hands up.
Yeah.
Saquon that play started at the 22.
Yeah.
Saquon was 3 yards upfield, and Jalen had both hands in the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how quickly these guys know that he's going to house it.
Yep. I mean, Jalen's in probably one of the best spots to see, though.
That there's a large area.
Oh, yeah. Lane did it earlier. On the first one. Yep.
Like, they just know when he's going to house it.
Yeah.
Again, to this day.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to this day, Saquon's the only person that can make Jalen Hurts smile.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just we'll go down as because they won, we'll go down as an iconic play. Like it should have been game over. It should have been the killer.
Right.
But still, just an all-time great run. He even he bounced it twice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And did you see the video where he smiles at Jalen?
Oh yeah,
And
watch this.
He mouths, yeah. He said, "Watch." He said, "Watch, I got it."
Yeah, but after the game, he said that he asked Jalen if he was lined up right.
No, he's just making that up.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
He says, "Watch, I got it."
Okay, I agree. All right. So then, like you said, at this point,
there's what 4 minutes left.
4:30.
Yeah,
4:35. You're feeling like they got it right. Like you're feeling good. And then for some reason, Vic stopped being aggressive.
I'm
not now. They started to go. Now I do want to say this, and Collingsworth pointed it out on the broadcast. He did what, and this worries me a little bit about the Commanders because it's what they do. He did what they probably should have done earlier, which is go tempo.
Yeah.
And when you go tempo against the Eagles, they can't get their defenders switched in and out, and it burns their linemen.
Yeah.
And they went 10 plays, 72 yards or 70 yards, but 72 through the air.
Yeah. I almost thought it might have been worth it for Nick to call a timeout.
Might have been.
Like once they got to maybe the 35-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the possession or was it the final possession where a ball went through Coop's hands?
It was that one.
Okay. One of the two, Coop had a ball.
It was that one.
Fourth technically dropped interception. All right. So then the Eagles get the ball and there's 2:48 left. And in my head, I'm like, all right.
Well, the Rams go down and score. Now we're only up 6.
Right. 1 first down. And that's it.
Yep.
So on first down, Saquon goes for 3. 2nd and 7. On 2nd down, they decide it's a good time to run play action. Now, again, I know a lot of people were angry that Jalen took a sack. You absolutely do not throw that ball away by any means. If you do, you're saving the Rams a timeout. You take the 12 yards. I get it. I understand it. That's on the coaching.
Yeah.
You don't call a freaking pass
Again,
on 2nd and 7.
If you lose a yard, who cares?
It is unbelievable that decision was made after the safety.
Yeah.
And this is where I will defend Jalen to the nth degree. You don't throw that ball. First of all, if you try and throw that ball across your body, it might get stripped because that dude is right there. And you get stripped there, it's either a scoop and score or they are in position to win that game right there. So you tuck that ball and you take the sack. But your coaching staff puts you in that bad position by calling a throw on a play that should easily and look, if you want the ball in Jalen's hands, which I don't think they do with the knee, but run QB counter.
Right.
But do not run play action. Don't force him to make that decision. The two biggest sacks in this game came as a result of play calling. And no one's going to even if Dallas Goedert is open on that play, which I know he is, but I'm telling you it's not the first read. And he didn't have time to get through his progression. It shouldn't have been in that situation anyway. Run the ball.
Yeah, it's again, what's the reward? Like what's the gain there? You have to give yourself again, even if Saquon loses 1 yard, it's now 3rd and 7?
Yeah.
What if the next one goes for 6.5? Right? And then you push to get the first down.
They were super liberal about that. Show.
But I just mean like that. But that's the sequence of events to keep the clock running and give yourself a chance.
Right.
That play, if it goes badly, gives you no chance because you're not going to throw it again.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
Instead of 3rd and 7.
Right. So I actually left the room for the punt because I was so angry. I went to the bathroom and Andrea was like, "Do you want me to pause it?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. They're gonna lose." And I'm so frustrated right now. And again, that fast-paced, no huddle, tempo offense. And what a catch by Puka Nacua.
Oh my God.
You gotta be kidding me with that catch.
I think Slay thought he was closer to out of bounds.
Out of bounds, yeah. I think the snow screwed with him a little.
Slay turned around to the ref and was like, "That's out."
Yeah,
and he was clear, like he was a yard in. I think Slay got not confused, but like wasn't sure where out of bounds was, and thought that he had kind of pushed him up against it enough. Yeah. But yeah, what a play! What that's when I said I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe they're going to do this. Yeah, I can't believe they're going to do this to us.
And that was a 1st and 10 play. The Eagles got him into 3rd and 10, and Stafford just kept making throws. And look, I said on a TikTok video that they're one of the worst 3rd down teams in football, but for some reason they got a bunch of. They didn't get all of them, but they did get a bunch of
yeah. I mean, look. The pass rush did some good things tonight. You can't completely say like they were a no-show.
Yeah.
But it was very clear this was another like Green Bay field game. Like they just weren't doing much in those situations. Like those 3rd and 10s, things like that. They were gassed at that point.
Yeah, they were spent. All right. So they're 1st and 10 on the 21 with a minute. They're gonna break my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Then a big penalty knocks them back 5 yards. False start penalty. Stafford makes a throw to Puka for 10 yards, gets them to 3rd and 2 with a minute 14.
It seemed like that happened a lot too. Like something would happen where we pushed them back.
Yeah,
and then it would take 1 or 2 plays to make up all that yardage and then some.
So the Eagles' biggest weakness, even with Nakobe on the field, are plays in the flat. And the Rams run a lot of that stuff. Like they trust their guys yards after catch.
Yeah.
And the Eagles trust their guys to tackle.
Yeah.
And that play, that 10-yard gain for Puka, was a throw that was like a 4-yard throw essentially.
Yeah.
That he took for 6 more yards. But this is where Jalen Carter became the player that we have come to know and need. The 9-yard sack. I mean, he was in there, and
oh my God,
Orlovsky tweeted a video. That was a touchdown.
One of our guys fell.
Isaiah Rodgers fell,
and whoever that tight end was really open.
Higbee, he was wide open.
Yep,
and it was 6.
And our safety was not too far away.
And because Jalen Carter is who he is, he wrecked the play.
Right. At that point, Stafford is cowering.
Yeah.
Because Carter is there.
Yeah.
Like, no, I get it. He's open, and I'm not saying that's not a factor. But like, it's not just that Carter is like close to him, because Stafford would let it rip.
Oh yeah.
It's the fact that Carter is there so fast that Stafford is already in a ball, trying to make sure he doesn't die.
And I want to go back and say that's a similar play to Jalen in the end zone. You got a guy running free, but you got a free runner in your face. It's not easy to make that throw. And that's a Hall of Fame quarterback who didn't make that throw in the biggest spot of the game because you got a dude bearing down on you. And then he did it again.
I was praying for it. I was like, guys, just 1 sack. Just 1.
Yep.
Just and one, and we do it. And he
on 4th and 11, he does it again. And they wanted a hole, but like they weren't calling anything.
No.
Because of the snow, they were letting them play.
Yeah.
And look, there was a little jersey grab. If they would have called that in that spot,
Oh
though,
my God.
I don't know that I would be sitting here right now.
Because if they do, they're scoring.
Oh yeah, well yeah, first down with 25 seconds left from the what 6-6 like.
Well, if it was a hold, right? Let's say it's even 5 yards, but it's an automatic first,
Well,
so it's not.
Yeah, I think the ball was in the air when he held him. So
Oh,
it was
all
gonna
right,
be,
I gotcha.
It was gonna be PI. So they get out of there. They get out of there and onward and upward. Couple of things from this game. Jalen's knee, Saquon's hand,
Quignon's shoulder.
Quignon's shoulder. Quignon seemed like
He said after the game, yeah.
I think it was a stinger.
There was a report that he said, I'm good. Nothing, there were reports that nothing catastrophic had happened.
Yeah.
He seemed like he said, I'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think it was probably a stinger. And he should be fine. Also, Isaiah Rodgers' ankle. Did we say,
because he went back in the game eventually.
Oh, did he?
I thought so.
Well, I just said that he fell down. So yeah, I guess he did.
It almost seemed like a cramp to me when they were looking at it.
It looked like he just.
I got a little afraid that it was like his Achilles, because he pulled his sock down real quick and went to like the back of his his calf muscle, and I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it cramped up real bad, like when he hit the ground, it just
right.
I don't know.
So, all right, look. Moral of the story tonight was they did enough in a very ugly type of. I really wish that Vic would put that defense in his pocket. We haven't seen it in so long. And a team that goes tempo, it's not going to work. Like,
I hate it so much. They're like, it's back to like the Gannon days where they just play 12 yards off of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys, no, it's not good if they score here. Like, it's not good.
No, you could put that game on ice.
This game is not right. This game is not over.
Play the way that you've been playing.
This game is not over.
So at the end of it all, they're moving on. Health is big. We'll definitely have our ears to the ground on this week with the knee.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, he said he's playing. So
yeah,
I know he's gonna say that, but
he's gonna play. But like, how effective can he be running the ball?
Exactly.
And how quickly can the Commanders figure that out and just crash defensive ends on Saquon?
Right.
So that's going to be a big storyline heading into this week. Here are a couple of notes that I want to just make sure we pass off here. I have a great amount of respect for Jaden Daniels, and I want to make sure I say that before what I'm about to say here, because I'm going to say two things.
I mean, what did he do? He set a record for wins for a rookie quarterback, right?
Absolutely.
In a season.
Absolutely. He's a tremendous talent. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And I'd be foolish to sit here and say that like he's not foolish. He's a great talent.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, we're going to hear a lot this week about Jaden Daniels, and it's going to basically be what we heard about the Rams this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it also needs to be said. I don't know how often we'll hear it this week. That Lions team was playing with undrafted free agents at all three levels last night.
Well, yeah, I text you. I was like, I know that they've scored like 70 points, but I said, could you say that any of these teams are playing well? Like, what? It was the stupidest marshmallow fight I've ever seen.
Like Jaden made some incredible throws.
Sure.
Jared Goff looked terrible.
Oh my God, yeah.
Terrible. The one interception he overthrew by like 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other interception in the end zone, he underthrew by 6 feet.
Yeah.
Like, Saren still cut it off. Like, it was
Yeah.
a good play. But if he throws that ball where it's supposed to be, it's touchdown. That ball is supposed to be, like, towards the pylon.
Yeah.
And he threw it underneath for some reason. It was a terrible throw. And then someone explained to me how the head coach of a football team, of an NFL football team, in his headset, hears whatever call they have for double reverse wide receiver pass with 10 minutes to go in a game you're down 10.
Yeah.
And you're running the ball down their throats.
Yeah.
And doesn't jump in and say, no, we're not doing that. That, Regz.
That was really bad.
That was bad. Now, here's something I can tell you if any Commander fans are tuning into that. You had a really hard time stopping Gibbs on Saturday night. And for some reason, the Lions let you off the hook by not continuing to give it to him.
Yeah, that guy's something. He's good.
I can promise you that the 26 you're going to see in green next week, they're not cutting him off. They're not cutting him off. The Commanders, again, good football team. And here's the second thing I'm going to say. They're going to talk about Jaden Daniels all week, and we're going to hear about the win against the Lions. We're also going to hear a lot about that comeback win, because last night Kevin Burkholder made it a point to say, well, they had that huge comeback against the Eagles in December. Neglected to say that Jalen Hurts didn't play for 3 3/4 that game.
And we had scored 21 points in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. And also neglected, well, this isn't going to be as newsworthy, but that basically the captain of the defense got ejected for saying words.
Yes, for talking.
And again, oh my gosh, another game, Regz, where he didn't get ejected. Wild. Crazy. Last night, the hot mic caught Frankie Louvu saying the F word 3 times. No flag, though. So I guess words aren't a big deal. Also, that dude is trash.
Yeah, he's
that dude is trash.
Yeah.
He's dirty as hell.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really hope that next week the Eagles decide to pull Jordan Mailata and he freaking wrecks him.
Yeah, like the hit.
That dude has one coming.
Yeah, the hit on Goff was obviously on purpose and
it was
deliberate. And then the same thing happened to Jaden Daniels, and they flagged him.
Yep.
It's like Jared Goff was just as much in the play as Jaden Daniels was.
Yep. Well, you're not supposed to hit a quarterback on those plays.
Right.
Like, he took his head clean off.
Yeah, he saw it. He put his head down right under his chin.
And correct me if I'm wrong, he wasn't in the end zone yet, so that would have been a 15-yard penalty from the spot.
Yeah.
It wasn't after the play. So they would have actually it would have been, they would have gotten the ball at the 20.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes that team very unlikable for me. I can't stand that guy. I think he's a clown. And I do hope that somehow Jordan Mailata gets a free shot at him next week. I do. I'm not wishing injury on the guy, but I do hope that he gets a little bit of his bell rung for the cheap shots. It seems like every week I watch him.
Yeah.
He's diving, he's head diving at people.
Mm-hmm.
He's seeking, he's missile seeking. So my point here I'm going long-winded, but we're going to hear about that big comeback and all these things from the same people who say, well, Jalen Hurts, he's not good enough. The only reason they didn't win that game is because Jalen Hurts didn't play in that game. But we won't hear about that.
Yeah.
It'll be about the comeback. It'll be about Jaden Daniels throwing 5 touchdowns and overcoming such adversity. Let's not forget that before that very drive they're going to praise, he threw a pick that should have ended the game.
And they turned the ball over 5 times that game.
If the Eagles, third best weapon doesn't drop a pass right in his hands, the game's over. Because Jaden Daniels threw a really bad pick, just the possession before that.
Yeah. And our backup quarterback can only manage 6 points off 5 turnovers.
Yep. I look, again, they are a team that seems like they're playing with destiny right now. I get it. And their quarterback is incredible. I get it. But I think like some context is necessary for both of these wins that they're going to be just salivating over the next 6 days. It's going to be just nonstop slobbering over a win against the Eagles that they're going to play because, what a comeback. No Jalen Hurts. And then they're going to salivate over this win against a Lions team who's playing truly with
like their 6th-string cornerback.
5 guys that weren't on the team 3 weeks ago. Like, and look, I gotta tell you, I opened the sports books and the Eagles are only 4.5 point favorites. I am not the type of guy, Regz, who I hate when favorites act like underdogs. I hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. And I'm not going to do that. But I will say that it's disrespectful for sure.
Oh, it's all that anybody's going to talk about.
Oh, the Eagles will be very disrespected this week and probably picked against by a lot of people. I mean, they were picked against. I have the picture on my phone. Out of 10 CBS experts, 9 picked the Rams. 9.
Didn't know that. Who picked the Eagles?
I don't even know the guy, John Richards or something like that.
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of the guys. They're like all. They're not like the guys who do the pregame and stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't think it's going to be much different this week. I think people are going to say, Jaden Daniels, and again, he's playing that well. So yeah, they're going to say that. But go ahead. I think in the pregame or in the the opening video today, Dawkins said like, "Oh look, the Commanders are the belle of the ball. Like, don't forget about us. Like, don't."
Again in that game, 5 turnovers. 5.
Yeah. Yep. And didn't Daniels had 2 or 3 picks.
Yep.
I have to go back and look at the number.
I know they fumbled. I think it was 3 fumbles and 2 picks.
I know Robinson fumbled a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm just going back to double check that. I just want to make sure.
But you're absolutely right. I said the same thing. Picks. I said the same thing to myself. As soon as the game was done, I was like, man, there's going to be a lot. I said worse things, but I was like, boy, it's going to be a lot of slobber on the Commanders and Jaden Daniels this week. And
we'll get into this when we do our preview, but the leading rusher for the Commanders in that game, Jaden Daniels. 9 for 81 yards.
And he continues to be like that. Every big play they seem to have is him.
Yeah, well, running. last night on the I think it was 4th and 2 or 3rd and 2. I think it was 4th and 2. They had the same formation that they had on the 4th down play against the Bucs the week before.
Yeah, and he running right.
The bootleg. And the corner got sucked in.
Yeah.
And that to me that's bad prep. Like that's bad preparation. It was the same formation. They were tight and that corner's only job is to set an edge. That's his only job. You don't crash the middle of the field. You have 10 guys in the middle of the field. Your job is to set the edge in case they run boot so that it freezes Daniels in his space and allows one of those 10 guys to crash. And he sucked in. And it was one of those guys who's not rostered.
Right.
It was a dude who's not rostered. I'll tell you right now, Cooper DeJean not falling in that trap. Quinyon Mitchell not falling in that trap. Darius Slay not falling in that trap. They are not crashing. They are too disciplined. As a matter of fact, I'd have to go back to the Thursday night game. That was the play they tried to run on the Eagles on Thursday night that Blankenship blew up.
Yeah.
On 4th, they ran bootleg and they stretched him out And Zach Bond came in and just absolutely decimated him on the sideline. I think the Eagles, and this to me is very much hinging on Jalen's health. I do think that the Eagles are going to be very motivated this week. There's part of me that believes the Commanders won their Super Bowl last night. They were it looked like it. They were running on the field like they won.
Yeah.
And I think the Eagles have a little bit of a vendetta about what happened in December. There's probably a sense of embarrassment and a sense of we owe them one.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they play that way.
Yeah.
Hopefully they play
Absolutely.
that way. But we'll preview that much more in depth.
Yes.
On Thursday night. But for now, my friend, we host the NFC Championship game in just 6 days.
Crazy.
7 essentially, but host the NFC. It all runs through Philly. I texted you last night. It's all in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is to me the dream scenario, and it's no disrespect to the Commanders. It's not about them. It's you get the home game that we so badly wanted with the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You get the home game.
Mm-hmm.
You win this game, and it's one for it all. And there's 2 teams on the other side that I think the Eagles are more well-rounded than. I understand the quarterbacks for both of those teams, but from a team perspective, I think the Eagles are more well-rounded than both. So win this game in 7 days, and we get to sit on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll see you Thursday, buddy.
That's right. That's right.
Until then, go ahead and click subscribe on the YouTube channel below if you're watching us. If not, make sure you're following, like wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead over to social media, at the Phixated Pod on Twitter, at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with a Z. Head on over to Facebook, Phixated fan page, TikTok at the Phixated Pod. It's back. It was gone for like 12 hours, and now it's back again. So I'll be doing a video tomorrow morning. And then Regz, we got to do the Instagram. I think we just need.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let's
I'll
just do it.
I'll get it set up tomorrow.
All the videos that we do on TikTok can just be dropped on Instagram. And I can connect it to Facebook, and it can go into the Facebook page too. So until we talk to you on Thursday, take care of yourselves. Take care of others. Whew, they did it. We'll leave you with a go Birds, but also go Irish.
That's right. Go Birds, go Irish.
Oh my God, deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.